it brings the question up, if he does make it through the campaign, because if he lasts a year or 2 years,
Yeah.
then you get Kamala Harris.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And so
That's insane
then
to me.
I
That's
believe,
wild.
yeah. So the weight of that in a general election when $1 billion is spent explaining it to you on a television, I,
That's crazy to
it's
me.
you could get with this or you can get with that.
Yeah.
We back to 80s hip hop,
Yeah.
90s hip hop.
Now, one thing he isn't doing, which is interesting, and I want to get your take on this because I want to get into the sanctuary city conversation,
Okay.
right? Obviously, we know what's going on with the border crisis, and that now they're saying that they're going to help, build the border after they said that they wouldn't build another piece of the border, right?
Mm-hmm.
But on the other side of it, you have Texas and Florida, and they sending migrants up to Chicago, New York, Denver, even Atlanta, and all of these different places that designated themselves as sanctuary cities. And I'm gonna start over at New York. It looks like a lot of these mayors of these large cities petitioned, and they even went over into Washington to petition Biden in order to give them some federal money. Um, in order to support what it is that they got going on from the sanctuary city perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Adams recently released a budget that said they need to cut 5% of everything across the board, $1 billion being taken away from the school system, 5,000 police officers is going to be trimmed from the force, which they were already understaffed. A lot of the schools and all of this other type of stuff, whatever, right? Meanwhile, they have more children inside of the schools because they're now supporting the sanctuary cities and they built in these tent cities, right? Mm-hmm. Millions and billions, tens of millions of dollars every single month. I'm guessing that wasn't necessarily planned for from the budget. That's now being added to the budget, which continues to throw them into a deficit. But Biden won't give them no additional monies, though. Mm-hmm. In these Democratic cities, why do you think that that's a thing? Like, why do you think that he won't support the Eric Adams, the Brandon Johnsons, the Mike Johnson over in Denver? Why don't you think that he support these places that are sanctuary cities that to an extent seems as though they're carrying out that agenda, but it's not necessarily working out for them from a budget perspective?
Moving into 2024, any huge political position that the president took, mm-hmm. he's got to stand behind or be quiet about. Because he's already had to go and say I was wrong about the wall, and they got past that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He's already trying to endure the crisis at the border.
Okay.
I mean, we having problems at the border.
Yeah, a lot.
And it's more than just Mexicans now. Matter of fact, there's more
Venezuelan
other ethnicities,
yep.
Chinese, Venezuelan, Colombians. There's so many people coming in now, and just pure magnitude and weight on those places like Arizona and Texas and California. It's crazy. But those governors got smart. When everybody, Eric Adams himself and Brandon Johnson, when he was running for office, and remember the lady before him, and all of they're racist, they're this,
Lori Lightfoot,
they were calling them racist and all this kind of stuff. You know what those governors, they had a meeting, say, you know what, get some buses, and so when they start sending them up, all of those mayors, because mayor is a job not like the president. We don't have the luxury when we're in a mayor position of taking political positions. We have to see what's on the ground and solve it, because what they're seeing is these people are doing a whole lot of, they're putting a weight on the budget. They're coming into schools not speaking English, so then it's slowing everybody else's education down. So the overall test scores and quality of schools is about to drop in New York, Chicago, and everywhere else from already struggling schools. Then you have the weight on the health system. They're getting sick. All this uncompensated care that's going on because they got mandates in all these cities that they got to provide care. They're not getting compensated for it. And then the crime. These people hungry. So they robbing, stealing, pillaging. They're doing a whole lot of that stuff.
Yeah, over in New York, they say that they got brothels and everything.
All of it. They opening up like they did where they had. And so mayors have to react to it. We can't say we're going to keep our stance. So those mayors said, no, we need some help. Yeah. They got together and went to Biden, and Biden said, I can't admit that I made a mistake. I can't admit that we're not letting people in. The people that support me are about open borders. And so I have to make sure that I keep them open. Unfortunately for Biden, this crisis is going to be one that really sucks up a lot of votes in places that he needs to win. Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
Nevada
swing states.
It's a swing state issue. Nevada, Colorado, Florida. These places are this issue is going to be big.
Yeah.
In Florida, they love the immigrants until it got to be too many.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they had a little system with the Mexicans. They were doing all the work. They had the orange groves, they're doing stuff. But now it's like, wait a minute, hold on, that's enough.
Yeah.
And I believe that he cannot say, and I believe his advisors are telling him he can't come out and say sanctuary city's got to be over.
Yeah.
Because this is something that Obama and him stood by. They did press conferences, everything.
They did.
You know, and Trump from the very beginning, he's taken a counter position to it harshly, very tenaciously and aggressively, and he see that as his competition, and he's in a bind there.
Mm-hmm.
Kamala Harris has been going out, this is what we believe.
Yeah.
And so to make a turn on that right now, he has to figure out a way to do it, and these mayors can't help him figure it out because they have a crisis now.
And it's interesting because I don't see how, with New York having that massive budget,
yes,
right? And another thing that they saying is that they cutting garbage cans, sanitation services, all of that is going into the budget, right?
I was just there. I went out, we met with the NFL, and I stayed a day and kind of looked around, and they having some problems. You can see them. Mm-hmm. They all over. You drive through Brooklyn or Queens or something, they man, listen.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. And New Yorkers are very tense about it.
It is.
Because this is a liberal community. They like everything. Mm-hmm. They welcome everything. But they're getting now to the point where they feel like it's a security issue.
Yeah.
So, not my school, not in my backyard.
Do you think that, what's the move for Eric Adams? Like, what does he do?
You know, it's funny that as soon as he started putting more pressure, because he actually stepped up out of the group.
He did.
And he went harder because of what was happening in New York. And now he's got an FBI investigation.
Yeah.
See, I'm telling you, agenda.
Yeah.
And so now they open up an investigation. So when they open up an investigation and announce it, now they get wiretaps.
That's crazy.
People need to understand. Now they get access to his text messages. Now they get access to his office.
Yeah, they took his phones, his iPads, everything.
They went into the thing. So listen now, it's now aggressive data mob. The FBI come in and they come in and scare everybody. They scare your family members. They scare any girlfriend he has. They scare, and so now everybody's nervous and they calling them the grand juries. Mm-hmm. And so it's a tactic that the federal government used to keep somebody in line. And that is what that is for Eric Adams. Now, this guy spent 30 years in law enforcement, so he knows.
Yeah.
He knows exactly. He's probably done it to other people.
Yeah.
So he knows exactly what it is. But this is what I want people to understand.
That's
insane when Donald Trump came in and said, the FBI is the most corrupt organization in the world, everybody was talking about it. Man, listen, y'all don't know the half. They something else. J. Edgar Hoover is the founder of the FBI. The modern day investigatorial practices, the modern day strategies, the modern day, how they work, the building in Washington is all named after him, and this all comes from him. He was a deviant person. This was a person while Martin Luther King was out speaking and changing the world, he was sending tapes to his wife, dropping them off on the porch. He was monitoring and had files on every black leader in the country. He was supporting the CIA with illegally putting drugs in community. Everybody here in the street know it's some dude in your neighborhood is always got weight. When it's a drought, he always got dope. And he ain't never been to jail. And if he go in there, he come right back out.